No one ever doing. But hey, here we are,
Here we
live
are.
in effect, and it's crazy. I wanted to have fun on this show, but of course, Deshaun Watson had to go nut all over it, just like he
Jesus,
nuts all
yeah.
over the massage therapist. He gets
Yeah.
11 games, $5 million fine, Bert. We'll talk about that. We're gonna make fun of your Yankees because
We
it's
should.
not Joey Gallo double middle fingered you all the way out the door, and
Joey
everybody
Baloney.
thought, hey, if we get rid of Joey Gallo, everything's gonna be good. And he said, nah, wait a
Mm-hmm.
second. And then NFL season right around the corner, Bert. We're in the second week of preseason. This is where the starters are going to play, and then we'll have the third week, which nobody plays. And then NFL will be here September 8th. And so we'll talk about the top 5 things we are looking forward to this NFL season. And then who will win in a cage fight
Oh,
between Dan Campbell, head coach of those Detroit Lions, and Mike Vrabel, head coach of the Tennessee Titans? Who will we choose? Find out next. Sports. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Stuff About Sports. I am the Facebook felon German. With me is the prettier Corey, Bert. Bert, what's up, man?
what's up? What's up? I'm glad we're doing it this week. I know we had to push the show a couple of days, push it a little bit later, but it's very freeing for me to go in here and talk about sports. And actually, I don't mind doing the Thursday show, knowing everything that just dropped the last 2 days too.
Yeah, like Thursday's pretty cool, man. Usually the Divide guys usually took up the Thursday slot, but now they're moved on to bigger and better things. And speaking of the Divide, you can catch them Sundays from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. on Fox Sports The Gambler, 102.5 FM in Philly, 104.1 FM in Trenton, and the iHeartRadio app. And that's how I listen to them because I'm in North Carolina and I don't get local radio, which really sucks. However, just found out on my Roku TV that I have, they have like the satellite TV channels, like it's like or Baywatch all day, like the Baywatch channel.
Yeah, I saw that the other day when I was browsing through. I was like, "This is a channel just for Baywatch." Jesus.
Yeah.
Imagine if I had that when I was 13 years old.
Yeah, well, I know. Where the hell was that at, man? Yeah, shout out to Pamela Anderson. They have like the NBC local news channels for every major city, and Philadelphia's on there. So I definitely went to NBC Philadelphia just to reminisce and remember what it felt like to live in the Northeast. And I had a really good time doing that. So shout out to the people in the Northeast. So Bert, first things first, New York baseball, Mets, Yankees. Mets are still number one in the NL East. How are your Yankees doing in the standings? You still up top, or did y'all let that go?
Yeah, I mean, still up top in the AL East. Overall second in the AL. The Houston pulled away. But I mean, look. Last week, I was like, you know what? Fine. This small losing streak, it's good for the Yankees. Let them get it out now before the playoffs. It's going to be very hard for anybody to catch them. It still is. It still looks like, barring any colossal fuck up, that they're making the postseason. That's fine. And then it dawned on me, because we're in August now, that the Yankees are the new Mets.
Yeah.
And the Mets are the Yankees. They've Freaky Friday'd baseball right now, New York baseball in particular. So, I mean, look, hats off to the Mets to what they're doing. They're on a roll. Anytime I have to listen to Stephen A. Smith comment on baseball, and I get it. Like the powerhouse Yankee team, Aaron Judge and his 46 or 47 league leading home runs he is now. I mean, everybody likes to shit on you when you're on top and you're having a bad go at it. I completely understand. But I'm going to be honest with you. As a fan, it's alarming for many reasons. And I wholeheartedly believe postseason's on the way. We're going to get there. But what scares me is how cold they've gone. These aren't games that they're losing by a couple of runs and their offense is still producing. These aren't like 9-7 games. These aren't 11 and 12 games like extra innings, although last night was. These are games where their pitching could be better, but their bats are fucking cold. Absolutely cold. Apart from maybe a solo shot from Rizzo or maybe a home run from Judge. Tonight they're playing a little bit more small ball, but they're still losing. Last I checked, it was 9-2. Great. So today was just a colossal meltdown. But these are teams we should be racking up against, right? Like, so
Yeah.
the Rays we just had, we're on to the Blue Jays now. I'll be at the game on Sunday. Like these are things where like these teams we should play them very well, and we're just not. So look, when one or the other goes between your offense and your defense, you're like, okay, maybe the other will save us. But what the Yankees case, dude, that they went almost 2 or 3 straight games without, or 3 straight games with only scoring 1 run. That's with that lineup that we have and the monstrous hitters, it's unacceptable.
Yankees have played Houston twice, the Mets twice, Seattle 3 times, St. Louis 3 times, and Seattle 3 times again since the All-Star break. They are 2-11 in those games.
Embarrassed by the Mets. Oh, we were Max Scherzer's child is what it came down to. But yeah, not good at all. And a lot of people are saying, all right, it's not just the curse of Joey Baloney here. It's not just Joey Gallo going to LA and doing great things for himself and leaving us in the dust, putting some sort of meatball hex on us before he leaves. It's the fact that you have Giancarlo Stanton on, it's all these things building up, but you would think, all right, we still have other players, right? Like we still have other people who could fill in no problem. So I don't know. Hopefully we'll turn it around. Last night I would have thought would have been, especially winning it in a grand slam walk-off fashion by Josh Donaldson. That was phenomenal. I would have thought that would have sparked something into today's game, but clearly that wasn't the case. So
of course,
hey, we'll see. I think by next week's show, we should have a legit idea of how much I'll start crying, because now we're entering late August, and now it's like, all right, listen, if we have a truly terrible August, it's not looking good.
So, Bert, it makes me extremely happy because what the Mets fans have been going through for these last however many years.
Of course.
And to see you anguished and see all these Yankee fans, you can't rely on 27 banners or 27 wings.
27 rings. I could point to it anytime. And I still have, don't get me wrong, I still have faith in my team. I now know what it's like, though, to have such high hopes going into an all-star break and on that high. And then the moment we come out of it, I'm just like, oh, is this how it feels in Queens every year? Like,
So don't worry, Bird. It'll be over for you here pretty soon. I'm sure there'll be a team that will get you guys out of here in quick fashion. Let's see. 10 games back, the Rays. You just lost 10 games. So to sit there and act like the Rays can't come back on you when we've seen them do it and sneak in there before.
Can they? Yeah. Will it be tough? Yeah.
Blue Jays too. Blue Jays have been hot. Obviously, that's probably the only competition. Red Sox are done. Orioles are done. So
that's what bothers me. I mean, we took 1 game this past weekend against the Red Sox, the fucking Red Sox. Like, are you kidding me? They're a 500 team. Like, and they shouldn't be, because they suck more than that. It's just that's what I'm talking about. Those are the games where you're just like, really, this sucks. Like, this is what it's come down to. But
we lost to the Nationals like right after they traded half of their team away. And it was just like, and that's the thing though. So like, and a lot of Mets fans, they're so used to being shout out to the Mets extremists and out there, but those fans are so used to mediocrity that you can't even say anything negative. No, I'm pissed off. We lost to the Nationals, who basically had a fire sale. Started their tank and they beat our ass. I'm upset about that. I don't care how many wins we have. You were supposed to beat the teams. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to win the games you're supposed to win. I don't care if we lost. It's not just 1 game. It's, beat these teams, because at the end of the day, these games are going to matter at some point. And you have to get the gimmies. You have to win the gimmies. Ask my Buffalo Bills, who couldn't sneak it in the 1-yard line against the Tennessee Titans and cost them the #1 overall seed. You know what I mean? Ask them that game against the Patriots, the lowly Patriots, who didn't even throw the ball, and still they threw the ball 3 times in that game and beat us. Another 1 game. It matters. So don't tell me 1 game doesn't matter. Of course it matters.
I still think I absolutely think it matters. I just think baseball's a massive season, right? I mean, look, every minute of play, so to speak, matters to me. Like every single thing. And I'm not concerned. I mean, a little bit worried that this streak is going to, like, I don't want them to enter the postseason and get streaky again. Like, that would be a big concern of mine. I want the old Yankees back, the one before the All-Star break, but that were just absolutely dominating. So I still think that postseason inevitable. I'm not like naive enough to be like, oh, it's over and like completely like just, burn all my shit. I won't do that. But I will say it
you're not
sucks
me.
because I like watching football, or excuse me, I like watching baseball. I like watching my teams. And when they're losing, even if they do have a 10-game lead on, the Jays and the Rays, so it's basically 10 games in hand on both of them. It's sitting pretty, but I want to see them win. I don't want to watch a game and be like, oh, we got 10 games. We're fine. Like, no, I don't want that. I want more than that. They were on a pace for a record-breaking win season, and then here they are. So I want them to get over the hump. I don't know what they need to do. I don't know what kind of holy water or cleanse they need to like put in the showers there, all over Yankee Stadium, just everywhere. I don't care. Get it done. Aaron Boone, fix your shit. Plain and simple. The house is in shambles. You've only won 3 games so far since the All-Star break. Get it together. Plain and simple.
Mets have, we have some injuries. Injuries bug hit us. Taijuan Walker, Eduardo Escobar, Luis Guillorme, and Carlos Carrasco. So that's not great, but we dropped our 10-game lead or 11, 12-game lead we had, and then we rose it up to like 7 or 8, and now it's down to like 5 or whatever it is. And so I'm not really worried about the Mets. Get these injuries out of the way now. Most importantly, DeGrom's back, and he looks unstoppable. And we'll get some of these guys, going. I'm still hopeful, Bert, for a Mets-Yankees World Series, but I got to tell you, buddy, I need you guys to get your shit together.
Yeah, I mean, look, 2 things here. One, you have to be pissed that Syndergaard isn't going to play against the Mets.
Yo, he is a giant. First off, hey, woke mob, go eat a salad. Noah Syndergaard is a pussy, bro. He did this, so he dodged the Yankees. Or I'm sorry. So you got me talking about the Yankees because you're wearing that wonderful shirt, bro. You look great.
Thank you. It's a DJ LeMahieu shirt.
There you go. He ducked the Mets. I'm about to do it again. Ducked the Mets when he was with the Angels, and now he's doing. And then he came to Philly. He's doing it again, Bert. He is ducked. And then all the meanwhile talking about, oh, I'm so happy to be here. If I went through this in New York, I probably couldn't survive because they would be talking about me. Yo, toughen up, dude. You bum. You
chose to leave. You signed somewhere else. This is the Freddie Freeman thing all over again. Yeah. You can't have your cake with your big ass teeth and eat it too. This is just, it's so annoying to me. You decide to go to these places. So if you're going to take the criticism, take it on the chin like a man. It's so annoying. And guess what? I don't care what excuse you're throwing your way. You don't want to pitch against your former team. You avoided it in Los Angeles. Now somehow you're avoiding it with one of the biggest rivalries in that division. So to me, it doesn't make sense. Quick stat correction. I said 3 wins since the All-Star break. I meant 3 wins within the past. I think it's like 12 days or whatever. They only have 8 wins since the All-Star break for the Yankees. But anyway, moving back to it. But Syndergaard, I don't know. I'm disappointed because I wanted to see that. You always want to see an all-star pitcher go up against a former team of theirs because you want to see how they do, how they fare. As Met fans, I'm sure they want to light him up for what he did. And as, Philly fans or any other fans, they're probably saying like, oh, is he going to hold their own? But yeah, I mean, what were we talking about before? What point did you make about the Mets before I brought up Syndergaard, throwing you completely off track?
Yeah, the injuries and things like that, like coming back. I mean, we have the Mets-Yankees series coming up starting when a couple days, right? It's like 2 games they're playing, the 22nd and the 23rd.
It's got to be that would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe.
Okay. I'm trying to pull it up.
I'm pretty sure we have the Jays through Sunday. Yeah, Monday, Tuesday against the Mets.
So 2 games. We're gonna sweep y'all.
Yeah.
I don't know who's pitching, but the Mets have the 2 best pitchers in that series. DeGrom and Scherzer, and then I guess you could say Garrett Cole's the third. I don't.
Man, his last couple of outings got me shaken. I don't like that. Look, that's what concerns me in the long run. But nevertheless, that's why you play the game to get into the postseason. And once you hit the postseason, anything can happen.
That's true.
But it's about longevity. Baseball is certainly a longevity sport.
Well, we can share something. We share the 2 hottest hitters in baseball since the second half of the season started are Aaron Judge and Francisco Lindor. Finally, Francisco Lindor earning those dollars, and he's killing it. So thank God for him.
Judge still has a contract to earn, and I mean, I think Cashman, the way he's going, Cashman has to pay him. But here's the thing: he may have done himself a disservice. Regular season, doing outstanding. If the Aaron Judge we know is going to show up in the postseason, he's been hot and cold, up and down, depending on the series. So if Judge continues to perform in the postseason and gets us through, and all hopes and prayers, brings us 28 rings, then he would have earned a massive contract. I'm also concerned that if he doesn't do it in the postseason, Cash may be like, yo, this is your offer, man, take it or leave it. And then he may go to Boston or someone else that's I'm just going to like cry tears
man,
but it is what it is.
That'd be great.
But I would love to see Yankees Mets World Series. But I mean, you have to go through the Dodgers, who not for nothing are just juggernauting their way through everyone right now. And look, we knew they were going to be a good team. We did, but I didn't know that they were going to be that consistent. Like, my God, take a series off, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, God, relax. I feel like the scary thing is, Bert, I think they have been. They had all those pitchers on injured. I think they've been like, we're just gonna cruise on through and we'll wait for the playoffs to start. All right, we're waiting for the NFL season to start, Bert. And for award, we are looking for things that we are looking forward to in the NFL season.
For award. I like that. Yes, my first for award. Dude, I'm gonna run through my list real quick, and you can call it a revenge list if you want. We're gonna start with number one, and I'm gonna start with Tom Brady. Absolutely smoking team, showing him that, hey, like, you all thought I was down and out, but I'm back. And like I've said on many shows before, it would be a perfect storybook ending if he absolutely did. He went out like a true king and won yet again another Super Bowl. But I think he's out to prove, and I think he has to prove, there's a reason he came back out of retirement. So I'm gonna look forward to yet another season of Tom Brady doing Tom Brady things. My number two, I'm gonna watch Baker Mayfield absolutely destroy in Carolina. I want to see him be the quarterback. I want to see Baker, what he could have done with the Browns, because he showed glimpse of it before he got injured, except with Carolina. I think he's going to do fantastic there. We've talked about it before. I want to see Matt Ryan, number three, breathe new life into the Colts. We know what a seasoned quarterback can do for that organization after years of struggling with neckbeard. And then he goes away. They have a QB identity crisis. And then lo and behold, the Sperminator goes in last year, Phillip Rivers, and actually helps him out a little bit. And then now Matt Ryan this year. So let's see. The Bills, number four, will continue to dominate, not just their conference, not just their division, but their conference overall. And lastly, and I threw this in just for myself, I think, and I'm looking forward to, I think the NFC East is going to be closer than a lot of people think it is. A lot of people have it on them boys. A lot of people are going more of the Philly route with a lot of the young talent that they have there. But I think people are sleeping on the Commanders and the Giants, myself included. I just think the Cowboys and the Jerry Jones, your classic Cowboy team, it's going to happen. They're going to come out hot, but they're going to fade. And then also Philly, I think Philly can enter up through some growing pains. So I honestly think it can be anybody's division. Is it likely the Cowboys? Yes. There's a lot of articles going around right now saying, is Ezekiel Elliott washed up? I don't know. Here's the thing. Can their talent pull them through, or can a sleeper like the Commanders or like the Giants try to take that top spot? Now, that's just for the NFC East. I'm not saying that anybody in that division is going to win a Super Bowl this year. In fact, I would bet against any of them. But those are really what I'm looking forward to. Apart from your usual, like, I don't know how it is in North Carolina right now, but in Jersey, it doesn't feel like your typical Jersey August. It kind of feels like the winds are changing, the season's changing, get kind of that cool air going, and let's get me and my plums excited for football season. I'm talking fall air. I'm talking football on Sundays with wings and pizza and just getting to it. I want Scott Hansen all day on my TV as I completely eat myself until I puke, with just nothing but football in 5 different fantasy leagues on 10 different screens in front of me. This is the life.
Let's be clear. Number one on everybody's list is Scott Hansen welcoming us to 12 hours or 10 hours of straight NFL football, or whatever his opening saying is. Yeah, red zone is the greatest thing NFL's ever done. I don't think I'll ever, other than the Bills, I don't think I'll ever watch uh, a full football game ever again. Like red
Regular
zone is
season,
complete,
post,
regular season,
yeah,
postseason's different. No,
postseason,
obviously
way
postseason.
different. Yeah,
And then you're because I've skipped Monday night games because I'm like, even if I like the teams involved, I'm kind of like, I got
Thursday
better
night
things to
games,
do.
I'd turn on just to see the color rush uniforms and then just be like, all right, I'm out. Like,
Yeah,
all
that's
right,
cool.
yeah, that looks cool. Yeah, that's fine. I'll catch up
Um,
on Twitter. Like, this is what it is.
I will say this 2 helmet thing I'm really looking forward to. Cardinals, the all black helmet they have is nice.
Yeah.
The Bills, fuck you. Where are the red helmets? Josh Allen had to wear a red helmet, which he wasn't allowed to do, to a practice one time, and they made him change it and made everybody think that the Bills were going to do the red helmets this year. But the 2 helmet rule says that you can't mismatch because when they do, they go to the stadium and do like the live practices where all the fans get to come.
Yeah.
So he wears the color rush jersey because the quarterbacks obviously have to wear different jerseys than everybody because they're special.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he wore the color rush red, which he's been doing for the last couple years. But this time he wore it with the red helmet. And let me tell you, it looked really damn good.
Yeah.
And everybody went nuts. Bills had to quickly say, no, we can't do it because you're not allowed to mismatch color rush uniforms. And we're not doing an all red because that's not our traditional look. And we already have the AFL throwback secondary helmet, whatever, but it's still the white helmet. It's not a different helmet, but you can't mismatch uniforms. So if you have one throwback, you can't have 2. So I'm like, well, then fuck that AFL helmet. Like we've been wearing it, so nobody cares. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure they're going to do the 90s next year, but I want the red helmet desperately. Like I want it back permanently, to be honest.
I'll never understand why the NFL just decides to limit themselves on what more shit you can. I mean, look at other sports. Like you have like the city uniforms with baseball. You have
NBA does it too. They
NBA
do the statement.
does it.
Yeah.
NHL has alternates. Some teams have like you have your home, you have your way, you have your third. Some teams have a fourth. Like, what are you doing?
The Diamondbacks have like 7 different uniform
combinations. I'll never understand. And I get it. It's a licensing thing. And like even to the point where players are fine if they're not wearing the right type of shoes or visors and shit like that. It's so dumb. But we'll get into it when we touch a little bit upon Deshaun. But the NFL, you guys are fucking broke. Like I don't know what's going on from a process standpoint, but like fix your shit. Get this man a red helmet. That's all we ask.
So for me, I don't want to say the Bills. Obviously, I'm looking forward to what the Bills do,
of course,
specifically because they've retooled, they've overtooled, right? Like they went crazy. Like they didn't have many holes to their game. But obviously, I as a Bills fan, I'm looking forward to the Bills every year. So I will say what I am looking forward to in terms of this season is the opening night Bills Rams, which a lot of people had penciled in as the Super Bowl. This is our barometer. If we go in there and destroy the Rams, I don't know if it makes me feel better as a Bills fan, but to know that we were capable of winning the Super Bowl last year and that we're even better on paper this year will set the tone for me for the rest of the season. Not that I'm expecting us to go undefeated. I was on the Final Whistle podcast. We recorded it actually right before I did this show. And I kept my expectations relatively easy. And I said, if we can get 12 wins, I think that's enough to win the division. I don't think we have to go crazy. He thinks we're going to go 15-2. Anytime you think you're going to go that good, that's rare. I would say 12.
That's what Marcus said too.
Marcus said that too.
He looked 15-2,
and the schedule does look favorable, but obviously there's always those couple games, and obviously we're not talking about injuries. But if we can get 12, 13 wins, that's a good number. It's a realistic number. And obviously if they get more than that, even great. I don't really care as long as we win the division and go to the playoffs and everything will be good. I am looking forward to, as like you said, Baker Mayfield. He got named the starter this week. I am desperately looking for Baker Mayfield this season to shut the haters up. And I don't think Baker Mayfield's a top 10 quarterback, but I think he's a winning quarterback. And there's a difference, right? Like there's a guy who can go out there and help you win games. And I just want him to play well. It doesn't have to be great. I just want him to play well. And I want the Panthers to have success, more success than the Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. Number 3 for me is the Detroit Lions. Continued evolution.
Ooh.
Looking forward to Detroit, specifically when Jameson Williams comes back from injury. Want to see what Dan Campbell has in store for us. Been watching Hard Knocks. I'm in love with the Detroit Lions. Me and Bert have been rooting for them since Dan the Man became the coach.
Yeah.
And we are secretly rooting for their success. Just not be the Lions. Just be better, and hopefully kind of just, everybody likes to see a rags to riches story. I would like to see them become a competent franchise again. So shout out to Dan Campbell and the Lions. AFC West. Looking forward to the AFC West. I think the Denver Broncos. I think I predicted them to win that division. I looked at it. They were the third best defense in the NFL last year, and they added. So I think I undersold how good they were going to be because they were 7-10 and nobody paid attention. They had they had the third best defense last year, and now you add the one thing that was really ailing you, which is a quarterback. And I still think Russell Wilson has a lot left in the tank. He's a hell of a lot better than anything they've had the last couple of years. And then you have new head coach Nathaniel Hackett will maximize and do a lot of the things he did with Aaron Rodgers. He's going to do the same with Russell Wilson. So the AFC West and just Russell Wilson in general. I'm also looking forward to Devontae Adams in a new setting. Is he that dude? Is he? And it's really, I can't wait for like all the new receivers, Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown. Like I'm looking forward to the new receivers with their new teams and seeing, who was real. Like, was it the quarterback or was it the receiver? Is Devontae Adams still Devontae Adams? More specifically, is Tyreek Hill still Tyreek Hill? It's gonna be odd. I predict that Jimmy Garoppolo will be quarterbacking the Dolphins by midseason, and we're gonna get
the Jets.
Here. No, not the Jets, man. I don't. Zach Wilson's injuries, he's like 2 to 4 weeks, so he'll miss the first week of the season, and he'll be back touching moms and throwing bombs in no time. So I can't wait for that. And the last thing, my number 5 is I want to see the young quarterbacks. Who's gonna separate themselves to be the next young guns, right? We had Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. They were doing it. Let's see if Trevor Lawrence, Davis Mills. I like Davis Mills out in Houston. Let's see if he, Jalen Hurts has the weapons now. Let's Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones. Let's see who is going to separate themselves from that draft class and as the next stars of the NFL. So for me, those are the 5 things I'm looking forward to. Obviously, my Bills winning the Super Bowl. I'm really looking forward to that, Bert.
Against the Pack.
Aaron's got to do it, man. You got to just to do it. I think a passing of the torch of the old best quarterback in the league to the new best quarterback in the league is poetry, and I think I need that for my own satisfaction.
That would be absolute poetic justice. It would.
I would love that. Before we get to, I didn't make a graphic for it, so I'm going to take the screen off because this is super serious time, Bert. We got to be super serious when we quickly talk about this. And I should have made a graphic, and I definitely don't want to put the game ball behind it because it doesn't seem like a game ball thing. Actually, I'll just leave this graphic up. It doesn't matter. So Deshaun Watson gets suspended 11 games, $5 million fine. What are now that the saga is seemingly over, it seems to be like, okay, this is done now. He's going to serve his 11 games. He'll be eligible to return to the team week 6 because of the new CBA. A suspended player can come back halfway through the suspension to at least practice. Before, you couldn't be near the team at all. Like you couldn't do anything. But I guess in this new CBA, a player suspended over a certain amount of games, you're allowed to come back. I forget. I think the game. I think it's. I believe it's 8. I think after like 8 games, you can come back in 4 games to practice with the team. So you can get, after such a long layoff or whatever. So what is your overarching thoughts on the 11-game suspension handed out by Roger Goodell in the NFL? Do you think it's enough, too much? What do you think about it?
I don't think it's too much. I don't think it's enough. I honestly thought he should have got a year. Goodell came out talking mad shit, like calling like his acts, what was it, like horrendous or just like
egregious?
Something like that.
Yeah.
The NFLPA pulled out of backing him, which usually means like you're like, listen, we were with you.
We did what we could.
We know, we kind of know. Yeah, you're an awful human being, so we're gonna pull back a little bit, but. To see just like 11 games in 5 minutes, like, are you fucking kidding me? But this is the thing, like, and we think we've covered this, like, it's disgusting, but it's civil, so it's like it's also, of course, it's all based off settlements and everything else. It doesn't change the fact that there were so many women that came forward, that he just decided to just not be able to contain himself and just completely violate individuals' personal space and do something that's so incredibly disgusting. But it's off the field conduct. So I thought it was going to be at least a year. I don't know what they took into consideration. I haven't read up enough about it because honestly, I'm just like in shock about it. But this isn't incredibly shocking to me, given how the NFL has always handled shit like this. You know, things that should be far, far worse end up being kind of, I don't want to say slap on the wrist because there's still 11 games and you did not play it all last year, but that was really more personal than anything else. Like, you know, it still shocks me that there was a team that wanted him. Right. And,
for sure.
you know, like the Houston didn't just cut him and eat the money, but the Browns said, hey, you know what? We'll help. We'll take him, and not, you know, sticking with Baker. So I think it's ridiculous. But here we are. And I mean, honestly, I'm not obviously a Browns fan, but I don't know how anybody in that organization or anybody who even, like, if the Giants took him, I'd be like, I don't think I'd watch the Giants, to be honest with you. And some sports fans out there be like, yo, you're ridiculous. You're not really a Giant fan. But like, no, I would just be disgusted with an organization that would take someone like that and stick by him. Like, it's not something that I would really want to support, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and Jimmy Haslam out there talking about, yeah, man, I'd do it all over again, knowing what I know now. Like, it's just gross behavior, right? 11 games wasn't enough, but here we go. Deshaun has to live with this for the rest of his life. Maybe the punishment is the shame that he has to go through. Maybe he doesn't feel it. Maybe the Cleveland Browns don't feel it. It's poetic justice that they are on the same side now. Like, the Cleveland Browns have been awful as a franchise and as a team forever. So good for them for having Deshaun Watson on this team. And I hope he comes out, and I hope he's awful. I'm not going to sit there and say, man, I wish he got hurt. But hey, man, if somebody hits him below the knees, you know, whatever, you know, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not going to cry over that. You know, it's, to me, that it's damning that it's more damning for the NFL to suspend anyone for drugs or DUI or gambling or anything else. And all of them should be punished. But it's ridiculous, Bert, that being a sexual predator has little repercussions in this league. And it's not just Deshaun Watson. It's overall in general. Let's be clear. Deshaun Watson is a scumbag. Sue Robinson said he did these things. Yes. So all you idiots out there that are still saying, "Oh, well, he didn't go to jail. He didn't. They didn't prosecute." Like, fuck off. Like, there's obviously you don't want any understanding on how all of this works. And if I was Deshaun Watson, I would just stop commenting on it. I know they asked him about it today. He kind of backtracked on his weak ass apology he gave last week, and now he's like, "Yeah, I was always innocent. I was always this." Like,
but he's not, though. Like, you're not. You're not.
But obviously, he can't come out and say, yeah, man, I touched those chicks, or yeah, I was jerking off in front of them because they wouldn't give me a hand job. So I just got up and jerked off and nutted on them. Like, he's not going to come out and say that. But it's also, you know, there's like, if you're gullible enough to think that 30 women just got together and made up the same story and just decided to start spreading it, like, if you think that is the truth over what the truth actually is, then fine. And then, yeah, you can go ahead and say, oh, you weren't in the room. Like, well, listen, no, I wasn't. But there's a judge out there who deposed Deshaun Watson and deposed the women. And like, criminal cases are different than civil cases. And the arbitrator determined that, yeah, man, you did this nasty stuff.
Yeah.
You're gross. You lied about it.
Yep.
And, you know, where's all this remorseful behavior that he said he had? Now he doesn't have it. Like, innocent people also don't settle. So all of it is just weird. He's a weird dude. The fact that your team had to have a clause in your contract that you could only see team-appointed massage therapists, which I hope are all dudes, by the way.
Yeah,
they have to
too.
be.
That, and I honestly, I think not only even like male or female, I think someone else needs to be in the room with them to make sure like
100%.
No weird shit happens. And I would hate to be that. Like, imagine being the dude that has to babysit another adult to make sure he stops beating off on his massage therapist. It's like, this is unfortunately the world they come to. What sucks even more is if you think outside football. And I don't want to dwell on this because I know we're a sports podcast, but like, if this happened in any other profession, he'd be out on the street, no job, no money. It's fine. But because he's a football star, they're making like, oh yeah, sure, come back to do football. Colin Kaepernick can't find a job though. This is we'll always go back to this. He's still a serviceable quarterback. Last time I checked, he's not beating off on innocent people, and the only thing he did was voice his opinion for equal rights. But here we are, we have other criminals and sexual predators in the league that we still support. But you made an interesting point. You mentioned before about like substance suspensions and shit like that. Talk to Josh Gordon. I mean, you have these guys that basically test positive for marijuana, and their suspensions are season over season indefinitely because it's against the substance abuse policy. Or substance policy, or you have guys going out and getting completely shit wrecked, hammered, and driving cars and getting in not just DUIs but killing people or killing teammates, and like they're welcome back to the game after a certain point, provided that they don't go to jail, right? But something like this that's so heinous and absolutely repulsively disgusting that there are 20 to 30 women out there that said that they've had this happen to, like, 11 games, $5 million, and we'll let him play again. Like that to me is just something is wrong there. It is like, why? I don't understand it. And you only find this in the NFL. Other sports, I mean, you take a look, and I know different situations, but you look at what happened with Trevor Bauer in MLB, and he's out. Like that, that's the thing. And I'm sure he'll go back, and there's fighting because again, different situations, and that was more like just a weird situation with what was consent, what wasn't, and whatnot. But still, I mean, similar act of being kind of like on the realm of being a sexual predator, going into now civil, and here we are. The NFL always seems to find themselves into this position where, when it comes to morals or comes even just judgment on the law, they seem to just fuck it up every single time. And honestly, this did shock me because Goodell came out and was just like, this is disgusting. Like, yeah, well, like it's Me Too decision. Okay, cool. But then they'll come out with an explanation, and I haven't read this one, like I said before, but saying, well, they have to go off precedent, right? Like what has been suspended before? Are they going to look to something along, since this is kind of new territory, like do they look towards what was domestic violence policies and how many games like other people got between like 6 to 8, and like it's 11 a lot? Is it the most? Looking at a list of suspensions, substance abuse ones, the ones that are just normal suspensions that usually have to deal with abuse, I didn't see anything over 8. No, excuse me. There was 10, but it was reduced to 4 after an appeal. That was in 2015. Greg Hardy, the Dallas Cowboys. There was a domestic violence. It was 10 games, but it was later reduced to 4 games. So
because the girl never showed up to court. That was the one where he got accused of throwing her on a bed full of guns and beating her, and
then
she
Josh
never showed up to court.
Another Cowboy, he was the one that got wrecked, stemming from being convicted of manslaughter. I think that's the one where he flipped his car and his teammate ended up dying. So I mean, horrible things that happening. That was also 10 games. Martellus Bennett was indefinitely. Well, he was reinstated.
76 games for Josh Gordon for weed total.
Yeah, that's.
But
a lot of these like initial penalty indefinite, reinstated 5 days later. Indefinite, reinstated 1 week later for violations of like social media policy. That was Don Jones of the Dolphins back in 2014. So nothing past 10 games, because the one that had to deal with manslaughter was, Plaxico Barris, until release from prison in 2011. So he went to jail in 2009. He was suspended and then came back. He was reinstated in 2011 and came back as a free agent. So not like, hey, you're out of jail, you don't have a job. The NFL and was just like, hey, you can come back, you're a free agent. I'm like, so I'm telling you that was probably the most egregious one, other than because everything else is like 10 games. The only one I saw was like a 10-game one that stuck, and that's going back all the way to when they first started recording suspensions. By the way, so we're talking at least 30 or 40 years.
His statement, I've always stood by my innocence and always said that I never assaulted anyone or disrespected anyone, and I'm continuing to stand on that. But at the same time, I have to continue to move on with my life and my career, and for us to be able to move forward, I have to be able to take steps and put pride to the side. I'm going to continue to stand on my innocence and keep pushing forward. I always stood on not disrespecting or sexually assaulting anyone. That's a lot to say absolutely nothing.
I mean, I don't Okay, that's fine. Well, I guess we'll wait for this all to clear. And I mean, if he ends up settling with everyone, then like, are you that innocent? Like, innocent people don't settle.
You weren't innocent the moment you settled, period. Because if you were that innocent, you would be still fighting. Like
Yeah.
you're not get if I don't want to hear this. Oh, it's just business. No, it's not just business. Like I'm not settling with you if I didn't do these things. If anything, I would be going out of my way to prove. I wouldn't be sitting there, let my lawyer handle it. Wouldn't be sitting there silent. If you were so innocent, there's nothing for you to hide. There's nothing for you to be scared of. I would be on TV every day.
Yeah.
Like, yo, wait, here's my correspondence. Here's what I was saying. You
Mhm.
show me what you're saying. You show me this. You show me that. I would have been fighting to death. There's no way I'm going to pay you money.
Mhm.
And so this whole thing, like the Texans basically put the nail in your coffin for me when they released their findings and said, whoa, buddy, nah,
Mhm.
we're not sticking around this. Here, this is what we did. Our bad. Here you go. Here's some money, ladies. We're never talking about this again. They know better. The moment that happened, I said, oh, he did this shit.
Yeah.
And so, matter of fact, the moment his lawyer went on that radio station was like, oh yeah, happy endings. They're not exactly illegal. I was like, oh, this guy did that shit.
I'd get a
too.
new lawyer, be like, I don't know if you know the law, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it's illegal.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Especially
And
when it's
also,
unwanted.
you idiot fans on Instagram. Dog, Robert Kraft went to a massage parlor
Mhm.
where the women said, hey, $50, I'll give you a handy. And he
Mhm.
said, okay. He didn't go there and say, you, all 24 of you, massage me. And then he didn't just get up on the table and start jerking off in front of him. That's what Deshaun Watson did. It's totally different. And so,
And by the way, Robert Kraft got in trouble for it.
and he got in trouble. And the other difference is the police illegally obtained that evidence, which is why he didn't get punished by the NFL. And that's why the cops didn't pursue it. He just paid whatever fine he got caught up in, and that was it. So like there was no criminal case to be had because the cops illegally recorded him, which,
Yeah, the difference is a willing participant. That's
he was offered a sexual service. He didn't try to take it from them or use his influence and corner women into doing it. So yeah, there's a lot different there. So either way, Deshaun Watson, you're a scumbag. I hope you tear your ACL. Oh, fuck it, I'll say it. I don't care. Bert.
Yes, sir.
Dan Campbell, our favorite. But there's a challenger in the ring.
Yeah.
Now, if there's a cage fight, Bert, who you got?
So I had to. This was so tough, but this is what it came down to for me. Mike Vrabel had once famously quoted that he would cut off his dick to win a Super Bowl.
How can you compete with that, Bert?
Anybody who's that fucking crazy is going to win no matter what.
Yeah.
And I speak this just because I wouldn't, there's not anything just parting to save my family's life. I'm not cutting it off or anything. Like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. No, you're dead. Like if hey, your family, you got to cut your dick off. Yeah. Hey, sorry guys. I can't, like, can somebody do it for me? I can do that. I can't do it.
He said, I would cut to win a Super Bowl. The man is crazy. But then, you do some digging about the type of human being he is, very compassionate, very family and friend first, like always out there, always supportive of his teammates. And then you read about how he's like 47, 48 years old. And for fucking whims, he just throws on equipment and gets out there with the rest of the guys and starts pushing and fighting like around, like on the field. Like Dan Campbell, amazing. He is, honestly. Like, I wouldn't want to fight him. But when it came down to those two, I think Mike Vrabel's a little bit looser in the head there. And I think he's the one coming out on top.
Nobody was ever crazier in the boxing ring than Iron Mike Tyson. And what happened when he came up against somebody bigger, stronger, and faster, and Buster Douglas? He lost. That's why I don't care how many dicks you rip off Mike Vrabel. You can't escape the measurables of Dan Campbell. He said, we'll tread water long enough to fucking kill you or drown you or whatever he said. Some nonsense he said. It was great. I don't know what it meant, but I was ready for it. He's biting kneecaps, so he's willing to play dirty. You may be willing to cut your own dick off, but are you willing to bite somebody else's kneecaps? That's totally different thing. Dan Campbell is a giant among men. He has the longer reach, and he's equally as crazy. Give him enough time. I'm sure he'll cut his own dick off. He just got here.
He might do it in celebration. He honestly might, like, they might win a Super Bowl and they'll be like, oh, well, I've done everything. May as well just chop this off now,
Yeah. Dan Campbell, he wanted to bring a full-grown lion. He was willing to endanger the lives
Mhm.
of anybody can hurt themselves, Bert. Any doof can go and cut his dick off. I mean, whatever. Like people, Cheddar Bob shot himself in the leg in 8 Mile. Anybody can do that. But can you pull
Plaxico
the
Bear
trigger?
shot himself in the leg and only got an indefinite suspension until he got out of
Yeah,
jail.
right.
So it's fine.
But is
Yeah.
Plexico and Cheddar Bob, are they ready to take the life of another man, stare him in the eyes? Because I know Dan Campbell is. He's ready to drown you. So I mean, and drowning, Bert, is a long, awful death, and he's
Yeah.
willing to sit there through it to win. So listen, biting a kneecap. I don't know if you know, my kneecap is pretty hard, and it's all cartilage and bone. Dan Campbell said he will bite your kneecap off.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm rolling with Dan Campbell. Hey, Dan, if you're listening to us at some point, Bert has betrayed you, and I'll never leave you, sir. I'm always here for you. Bert can go
If
over
you
there
ever
with
seek
dickless Mike
vengeance,
Vrabel.
just leave my family out of it.
Just leave my family out of it. Bert and dickless Mike Vrabel can go have each other. Bert, you have a game ball to give out?
Yeah, I do actually. Keeping in the realms of the NFL, young Cardinals fan Zach Gamowski had attended a camp. He had this jersey where he was getting like a ton of autographs signed, put it down in the wrong spot, and human beings being the pieces of shit they are, someone fucking took it off this poor kid. He was 12 years old, super upset about it. For some reason, someone recorded him crying. That's the world we live in today. But I'm glad in this case it happened because it got back to Kyler Murray, who's getting my game ball, who saw the video and not only got him a jersey, had everybody on the team sign it, and then hand delivered it to him on the field too. Just that's the type of fan engagement and the feel good football you want to see and hear about. Young fan working so hard for these autographs, some piece of shit steals it. And then you have a guy like Kyler coming out and just giving back. So Kyler Murray gets my game ball because that's just super cool for him to do.
My game ball goes out to the family of Dawson Knox, who's tragically lost his 20-year-old brother. He actually may be younger than that. I might have messed that up. Oh no, yes, he is 22. Luke Knox of FIU tragically passed away today. He wears the number 16, so all the fans of Buffalo and FIU and people around the country have donated $16 to and I couldn't find the charity. I had it written down. I can't find. I'm not going to sit here and try to fumble around with it, but losing a family member is sad. Obviously the details are personal and private, but losing anybody at 22, whether it was suicide, disease, accident, whatever, is awful. And so I want to give my game ball to all the people who have rallied around Dawson and the Knox family and supported so quickly to their cause, and hopefully they find some peace in the next couple weeks and months and tries to get over this. It's never easy getting over losing a loved one, but to know that you have a wonderful support system absolutely helps. So game ball goes out to Dawson Knox and his family for losing a young brother. So shout out to them.
Last but not least, I think we got to give a shout out to our niece too. It's her birthday today.
Oh yes,
got to give a shout out to the Queen Peyton Powers. Happy birthday, love. Your uncles
Princess.
love
You. Yes, we sure do. I'm coming up there pretty soon to give you a hug and hopefully hang out. Not to get too personal into the Powers business, but you are absolutely a blessing. You have no idea what your parents had to go through for you to get here, and they couldn't ask for anything better. I know that I couldn't, be happier for them. For you, you were truly a gift from God, and we appreciate you and your presence in our lives because we're all better for it.
And I hope you're not listening live for many reasons. One, because it's late, and two, because
you should be
two, because we were cursing a lot. So you know what?
Yeah.
Mike, just that last piece, just show her that, and nothing else from the show.
Yeah. From your uncles, Jeremy and Bert.
Yeah.
Good night, Peyton. You should be already in bed, but if you're not, go to bed right now. We're telling you right now. Bye.